Hey guys, happy Monday. I have an assignment posted that you're going to be able to see, and I thought maybe I would just give you a little bit of a explanation because it looks like it's a whole ton of stuff, and I'm not going to lie, there's a bit of stuff to do here, but I'm giving you most of the week to work on it. But I'm going to kind of show you how to work your way through the assignment. So, what you'll see on your wall this morning will be this assignment. It's a poetry assignment, so it'll be poetry session 1, key ideas and details, quote accurately. And there are a lot of files attached to it, so I kind of want to walk you through these because there's really more thinking and reading than there is actually work to do. So we're starting a poetry unit, and the first thing that I posted here is these two documents are the two poems that we're going to be talking about and making comparisons to. The one called A Poison Tree, so if you click on it, it'll open it up as a document. So this is the poem. And I made it so that you can have your own copy, so you can like highlight on here. For example, one of the words that we're going to talk about is this word right here, wrath. So you might want to go through and highlight words that you're not sure of, that sort of thing. It's easy for you to do that because I've given everybody their own copy on here. So the whole idea, guys, and before you actually read the poems, it might be a good idea for you to go ahead and look down here where it says Google Slides. So these are all the assignments. The first two are the poems. The second two are what you're going to actually type in for your answer. And this is just a journal that I've created. And we're going to talk about this journal on the Tuesday Zoom. So don't worry about this journal. Don't get freak out and all that sort of thing. It's not as much as it seems. So I'm going to open up the Google Slides. And I encourage you to look at the slides. I'm going to hit the presentation here in a sec. And this will sort of walk you through the poems. I'm not going to read the poems to you yet. The poems, I'm hoping that you're going to read on your own. I love to read poetry out loud, but I'd rather you guys see what you can make of it first, because a lot of us aren't used to reading poems. We're used to saying the lyrics to songs and things like that, which are sort of poetic. But we're going to get into a little bit more detail on the poems. We're going to be learning about two specific things in these two poems. One is called tone, and one is called character. So quoting accurately from a text when explaining what the text says explicitly and when drawing inferences from the text. So we're going to learn how to quote the text exactly what it says in the text, which is the word explicitly, and what sort of things can we decide because of the text. That's what drawing inferences is. So the first poem is called A Poison Tree. It was written by William Blake, probably in the 1700s. It's an old poem. So it is a pretty cool poem, I think, because it talks about somebody getting revenge and taking his vengeance out on an enemy and showing absolutely zero remorse. So that's what this poem is all about. It's a study of anger and revenge, how anger leads to harm when allowed to grow. It's written in the first person point of view. It shows the narrator showing his steps to draw the foe into being a victim in his cold-hearted plot, and it's very chilling because the narrator has zero remorse. Which means he doesn't feel bad about what he did at all. So the themes and issues, we have anger, getting even, the resolution of anger, and you're going to go through these again on your own. These are some of the literary terms. We're going to talk about tone and mood. On Tuesday, during our live Zoom, we're going to talk about rhyme, quatrain, plot, and metaphor. The special words to work through, we have wrath, foe, deceitful, and wiles, and we'll talk about those in more detail. I actually wrote the definitions down there for you to help you as you're reading the poem. When you're reading a poem and it's a poem as short as this one, it really, really helps when you read this poem more than once to kind of really dig into it, and I'm going to teach you how to do that. So tone is what we're going to talk about for this poem. Tone and mood are related, but they're not the same. So mood is the general feeling you have in the poem. And it could be related to like songs, music, and movies and things like that. What is the general feeling you come away from a certain movie or a certain song with? You know, does it put you in a good mood? Does it put you in a bad mood? Do you feel angry because something happened? You know, that's what mood is. And we recognize and we react to the mood. That's why, like, during a movie or during a certain song that you really like, you know, you'll dance or you'll yell or whatever. That's what mood does. Tone is a little different. Tone is like the poet's attitude toward the reader. So the poet who wrote the poem, how does he feel towards you, the reader? And it's different than mood. So the poet's attitude can be arrogant or even evil. And you see that in this poem. So I think we can say that the tone of the poem, A Poison Tree, is cold and calculating. This guy is evil. He wants to get revenge on an enemy and he doesn't care anything else about it. So when you read the poem, think about that as you're doing this. The second poem we have is called Speak Up, and it's by Janet Wong. And it's an interesting poem because it's written as if two people are speaking to each other. So when you look at it on the page, you'll see words on the left, words on the right, and you kind of have to figure out how to read it. So it uses dialogue. That's why I really like this poem. And it uses two people talking to show two different attitudes towards the explosive issue. Okay, and there's definitely tension between the two people speaking in the poem, and you'll pick up on that. There's probably I don't think there's any words you're not going to understand other than the pronunciations of a couple of Korean words. So the themes in this one, she's an Asian American poet. What does it mean to be an American? There's tension, immigration, stereotypes, and the main thing that it deals with is racism. And we'll talk about that more when we have our live Zoom. Literary terms, again, we talk about tone in this one, character, and it's a poem written in two voices. So when we're talking about character, you can kind of tell each character by what they say and how they say it. So how would you describe each speaker's character? What details could you use as evidence to support the character of each speaker? And what details can you pick up by what the characters say and how they say it? So the activity that goes along with this one is going to have you pick up those details. So I'm going to show you what that is. So in the assignment, so we have our two poems, and then we have our assignment for Poison Tree. So if I open up the assignment, remember we talked about tone. What is the tone? So you're going to write your name. So by the way, guys, when you have your name up top here, you should be able to just click in it, put your name, put the date, and then click down in the box to answer the question. So how does the narrator feel toward his foe? Remember what a foe is. If you don't remember, go back in the slides that I showed you. How do you think the narrator feels towards his foe? Now, what words does the narrator use to convey his feelings towards his foe? Now, there's specific words in there that help you understand how he feels, okay? And what tone comes through in this poem? What attitude does he have toward his foe? Okay, and I'm going to have to fix that. I'm not sure what that's supposed to say. So you have to think about that as you're filling this out. And we'll go over this again. We'll go over this together on Tuesday. But I want you guys to get started on it today. All right, so, and then, of course, Speaking Up, I told you, was about talking about character. So in the poem Speaking Up, we have two characters speaking to each other. So there's character one and character two. What qualities does character one have? All right, so tell me, what qualities are they? Are they kind? Are they thoughtful? Are they evil? How are they? So character one, what qualities does character one have? And you just list them here. And then in the poem, I want you to give me some evidence. What are some of the details that show that this character is what you say the character is? And the same with character two. So just like the poem is divided up into two sections, the activity is also divided up into two sections. And that's it. Okay, there's a whole lot of stuff. This looks like a lot, but it's not. The writing journal, we're going to use this on Tuesday when we're live streaming. And basically, this is a journal you're going to use to write down notes during class or to answer daily journal questions. So you simply put your name in here. And the beautiful thing about Google Docs is that it saves automatically, and it puts itself in a folder that's easy to find. And I'm going to teach you guys how to find that folder. Okay? So there's a bunch of stuff here to kind of read over and digest. I'm going to be on Zoom every day during our scheduled times. And if you go on the classroom, you know where our scheduled times are. So if I go ahead and show you up here, daily remote schedule. These are the times. So if you're in my third hour, this is the time for you to go on Zoom and talk to me if it's not a live Zoom day. So that's Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. If it's Tuesday, Thursday, I expect you on Zoom at the beginning of class. Okay? So hopefully that kind of like makes it a little bit easier to understand. I know there's a lot there. The people that are doing the home assignments in paper packets, they're doing the same thing, only they don't get the explanation. So hopefully, they can understand that as well. So anyway, good luck. I'm excited about this poetry unit, and I hope you guys read these poems really carefully because they are really thinking poems. See ya.